Jamie of Leaping Cat Model Works. Today I want to show you one of my, well, not really new creations, but one of my first modeling attempts. I think it turned out pretty well, and that's the 55-gallon steel drum. You'll find these all over any industrial site, maintenance away, alongside of train tracks, garages. Their drums appear everywhere. The ones I created are done to scale. The ones I'm going to show you today are my flat top drums, and these come in a pack of 10 and are available for sale on my website. These are 3D resin printed, and I have the details turned all the way up on these. So they are sure to add a lot of detail to your layout. So I want to talk about drums for a little bit. They come in a variety of colors depending on their use. I actually have a blog article that I'm going to link to the end of this video that kind of goes over the colors. The majority of the ones you find out in the open will be the blue ones, which are kind of pharmaceutical food grade. The other ones will be black, which indicate diesel fuel, lubricants, or other type of petroleum products. Red usually indicates something flammable. Yellow is hazardous material. And then there's all the kinds of other various colors from white to gray to green, and a few others in between there. Again, the article I'll link at the bottom of this post will go over the more details about the colors, so you can actually colorize them to your particular use, how you're going to use them on your layout. So today we're just going to be painting one, and this will be the end result. Let me move it over here. I'm trying to use two cameras today so we can see if we can get some of the detail. So there's one I painted flat black, and I'm going to go through the process of painting another one like this. So when you get your kit from me, they'll come in a grayish color, similar to other models. There are a few preps that you have to do to it, just because of the 3D printing. To get 3D prints to turn out correctly, you have to use supports similar to the spruce lines and the other models. And it leaves some, let me see if I can show you here, leaves some little bumps on the very bottom, which is not a big deal if you're just going to set the drum like that. And they may be a few that appear on the side. This one actually broke off really smooth, so we don't have to do anything to the sides of this one. But if the ones on the bottom bother you, or you're going to do some other orientation of this, we can easily fix that up with some distilled water. I really recommend, if you sand 3D resin prints, that you use water and use what's called a wet sanding technique. Mainly this is to cut down on dust. The 3D resin material turns into a very fine powder, and it's probably something you don't want to breathe. For me, to cut down on the dust and to give me a work surface, I use a paper towel and I use distilled water. The reason I use distilled water is because, well, you don't know what's in water anymore, and it could leave residue behind. But that's completely up to you. For this one, I'm just going to spray paint it. What am I talking about? Spritz it with a little bit of water. I'm using a 800 grit file, and I'm just going to kind of gently go around looking for any mistakes in the surface. Just call me Porky Pig. A blee 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 blee. And as much as I like, you know, I really need to get magnification glasses for this stuff. And I'm just looking for any rough areas that's going to be on the main body of the drum. I think that looks pretty good. I don't see anything. Again, we do have the parts on the bottom here, and that's just where the 3D model actually adheres to the printing plate of the 3D printer. If it wasn't for these, they would just fall off into the vat and we'll never get our model out. I'm just going to touch up these on the bottom a little bit. Yes, and then I also hope my air conditioning is not so loud up here. It's turning into summer, and with summer comes the humidity. It's not so much the heat that gets you here on the coast, it's the humidity. And people think once it rains, it's going to cool things down. It doesn't. Actually probably makes it worse. Now you have a nice sauna steam bath. But today the weather's nice. All right, I'm going to call that good enough. Now I'm just going to dry off my drum. Ideally, if I was doing this, I'll let it sit for an hour or so to make sure it's fully dried. But in our case here, I'm just going to move forward to the next stage, which is painting. And again, these are flat top drums, one of the variety. I do have one with bung holes in it. I will be showing in my next video for those who want a little bit more realism in there. But flat top drums is a common variety that you find through the real world. Next thing I'm going to do is paint it. And again, there's another blog post about the paint color for drums if you're into that. But for this one, I'm just going to paint a flat black. Why flat black? I really don't like to use glossy colors on my layout, but that's just me. And the paint I'm using, at least for my layout and scenery and details, is a basic, just acrylic paint. I get this at Walmart, Michael's, Hobby Lobby, or any other hobby store. I really don't spend a lot of money on paint. I think this one was a few bucks for it. But what's really nice about it, it's thick, a little bit too thick for our use. So I'll set this to the side, and what I do is I use a IPA alcohol to kind of dilute it, to make it more flowable for what we're doing. And I'm going to use my little mixer here just to mix it in. Mix it up, mix it up. I'm not going to sing. People pay me not to sing. People pay me not to dance. That's also another thing. That's okay. All right. Dun dun dun. So we've got our paint mixed up. We've got our drum. I'm going to set my sender to the side here. We don't need that anymore. I'm done with my water. I'm trying to keep a clean work area here. And I'm just using a very generic paintbrush. I have a friend of mine that's an artist. She spends, I don't know how much money on paintbrushes. That's her thing. So, using my tweezers, I have the drum here, and I'm just going to dip a little bit in the paint and start with it. Usually I find that you don't really need to primer these. unless you really want to. I haven't found the need yet. On my other models, yes, I would primer them, but for what these are, no, I do not. I may have my brush a little bit, paint a little bit too thick still. Oh, and we're not sticking to it. I didn't let it dry enough. So let's just muddle our way through this. I'm going to dilute the paint just a little bit more. Get a nice consistency of it. And I'm just going to take this and wipe it off. Sometimes that's the nice thing. If you mess up, you can wipe it off and start over. So now that my paint's a little bit more diluted, also going to clean my brush. All right, now let's try that again. Oh yes, much better. Before it's too thick, now I got it at a consistency I can work with. And it covers nicely. Sometimes it's an art because it's trial and error, but you know, the more you do it, the more you start to notice things like that and adjust as you need it. Let me try to get it down here so we can see what we're doing. And hopefully the zoom camera is in focus. We'll find out later, I guess. I try to be clever and put a little thing under my workspace here. That's kind of the focus area. So let's see if that works today. This is the second time I made this video. The first time was great. Video looked great. Got to editing it. Perfect. And the last minute of it, audio completely gone because, well, my wireless microphone ran out of battery juice. Today we're fully charged and hopefully that's not going to happen. All right, what do we have here? So I'm going to use my paper towel again. And there it pretty much is. Again, it doesn't take a lot to paint these. You can knock them out a few minutes once you get set up and going. I'll let this dry and go over it with another coat again, but I'm not going to bore you with all those details. And this should be also a drinking game because one of my things I would like to stop doing in these videos is saying don't get me started. There's a guy I used to work with that would give meetings and would like actually joke about how many times he would say throughout the meeting. So I'll work on that. So we have our drum, and I'm just going to kind of touch up the top a little bit more on it. All right. Oh yes, and do you hear one of the cats? We have Jocko Cat up here. So there it is. We're going to let that sit and dry. And that would be a perfect addition for our layout for anything in the diesel shop, mechanics, or any lubricant, diesel fuel, or anything like that. You know, put it in somebody's backyard, and you have a fire pit. Actually, I have an open-face drum. We'll get to at another point here, where we'll actually turn it into I don't know what they're called, basically a fire within a drum. So there you have it, and again, these are on my website. Comes in a pack of 10, and these are the flat top 55-gallon steel drums. And I think that covers it for today. Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and happy rails to you. Like the little twist there, happy trails, happy rails to you. Anyway, whatever. Hey, have a great day. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.